Is definitely going to be a more serious one. So there was a situation where a student, 17, Brandon Deppa, had beat his teacher unconscious, Joanne Notadich, and it was very serious. And I had been seeing this story on and off for I don't even know how long, I feel like the last few months. The thing is, I didn't know that he was autistic. I just kept seeing the same thing regurgitated in my face over and over again about his weight and his height and what exactly happened. Now, of course, when I saw this, I thought, wow, it's really getting bad out here with these students and these teachers. It's really becoming such a major issue of the discipline that these kids are getting at home. Is becoming a major issue, that there's not an understanding in this generation about discipline and about, respecting your elders and just going to school, taking care of it, and then moving on. Well, after, seeing this over and over again, something came up in my head as I read closely on the story. And I thought, is he autistic? That thought came up in my head because just the simple way that the situation that occurred and what it was over, and it just resembled something closely to me, familiarity to it for me in certain senses. So especially when, I heard the mother pleading for her son to have a lighter sentence. In this video, I'm going to be going over some things that are definitely not talked about, and especially after this thought came to my head, and then looking further into it and finding out that in fact this boy, 17, does have autism. Okay. And for me, in my opinion, I'm allowed to have my opinion because of my life experiences, because what I'm viewing things through a certain view. Where I would like to think that I am an expert on this topic because I do have an autistic son who is getting older, and I feel like my input in this would hold much weight, being that I have this type of experience and the things that people are not talking about, because this world, it can be very unforgiving, ironically, in a situation where many people have done something in their lives. I'm not saying that you have beaten someone nearly to deletion. No, the crime itself, the situation itself is something that is extremely serious. The victim that had to go through this, she is extremely fortunate to be alive, and because of the simple fact that she's still breathing, she's still living, and is expected to recover from her injuries. Yes, she has other ailments that's going on that we're going to discuss and deep dive into in this video, as well as key questions and key points that people are not talking about, especially when it comes to his response after the arrest. As we go into the video, if it's something that you do not know about, okay, so basically, like I said, the teacher, and there is also confusion on the story as well that kind of gets me, like, what really happened? Like, what happened? In the video, I'm not sure if I see a Nintendo Switch. She's holding like a hoodie or something over her, and everything is blurred. You know how security cameras are. The quality is complete trash, yet we have phones in our hands that have 1,000 billion pixels. But anyway, you see the situation, and I'm hearing different things. That there wasn't even a Nintendo Switch to begin with, that she was just talking about it, and but majority, 90% I'm hearing is that she had taken away and confiscated, these exact words, confiscated the Nintendo Switch, which if you've ever been in school, you have a teacher, they take away something, that means that you physically had something in your hand and they are asking for the item, right? And that's a whole nother thing, again, that we will go over in the video. But the thing that, seems to be really pissing people off is the fact that the mother is asking for leniency. And again, after knowing that this is an autistic case and this is not the same as your average everyday person. And if it was, there wouldn't be autistic programs. There wouldn't be different measures. They wouldn't be separated from the general population in school if this was something that wasn't something deemed as it's not normal. This person is clearly has a sickness or an emotional, aka spiritual dysfunction that's going on with them. And it brings us to the simple fact that yes, we are recognizing that autism does hold weight in the terms of this person is different. You will get treated differently. You probably get looked at certain ways. I as a parent of a son, a black son who's, they keep describing, oh, he's 6'6", he's 270 pounds, a big son, right, who is a complete gentle giant, but because of this disease, this sickness, this spiritual destruction, that they don't act like everyone else. They're not aware of certain things like everyone else. I go out in public, especially when he, was younger, there are people that are not sensitive to this, that aren't understanding of this, that if they're getting stared at, or if they're getting a certain vibe, or if they feel a certain type of way, that it can trigger something in other people, especially if you are a black boy. That is just the facts of the situation. Just for example, I was going to the park with my son, and it was another black man that was there, and I felt like something was off with that man too, in a autistic sense. And basically my son, it's one of the symptoms of this thing is being unaware of certain social cues. A normal person, a person that's normal, is going to go outside. They're not going to stare you down. Of course, whenever that happens, you see, women in the gym, if a man even looks at them too long, they'll want to post it on TikTok. They'll want to explode, even though they're sexualizing themselves. But just imagine someone who actually has a actual dysfunction. There was even a blind man in the gym who has a thing where he stares, and he got kicked out of the gym because of this woman and her ego and her entitlement to think someone's staring at her. That is like literally how some autistic boys are. They literally will stare and stare. Like, just to give you an example, and not everyone is going to understand why this child is doing that. Okay, not everyone's going to understand that. I know it. I hope that you get what that you're understanding what I'm trying to say in this video, because there are people out there that are completely, out of touch with the situation. There are people that say that they have autism and whatever the case is, but what I'm not hearing is that there's a spectrum. It's like someone who may have ADHD or someone who is bipolar. There are levels to shit. There are levels to this thing, okay? Not everyone that is going through something is going to react to it chemically in their brain the same way. That's just simply how it is. But something just tells me this is because of his stature, because of his ethnicity, this is what is going to be. You see the news. The news loves to put propaganda out there, loves to spice a certain part of a story up, loves to create drama. I feel every single video. And again, yes, it is a serious crime, and his stature does imply, okay, the severity of it because of his build. Okay, a lot of people don't understand. Autistic kids can act 5, 6, 10 years younger than their presented age. It's just the fact that he is also has the stature of a girl, because he's melanated. He's melanated. It's a science. People love science, right? People, love the whole situation. Science is just something that they're creating so that they can figure out what God created and try to penetrate the things that he's created, which is impossible because he is him. It's a fact that our genes, the black genes, the original, is just built different. It's literally just built different. The strength, the stamina, I understand, and then that it is a serious crime, and she most definitely is a victim. But she's not only a victim from this brutal attack, but she is a victim of the school system, which I have first-handedly experienced to be lacking in many different ways when it comes to helping these children. I'm not saying that there aren't precautions and they're not trying and there's this, that, and the third. No. But in her case, especially, even she said it out of her own mouth that she was failed by everybody there.
Like to think that they left me for dead. They let him come at me multiple times. They didn't render me any aid or any protection. Like, Flagler schools and Flagler County sheriffs failed me that day.
Okay, there should have been precautions, especially knowing his history, especially knowing what type of things that were going on mentally with this boy, that he should not have been in the regular population. If he has triggers, if he has certain things, especially given his stature, they weren't caring about his stature then. They weren't caring about, it's giving neglectful in a way, because it's like, you don't care about that then that, oh, okay, let's take into account that he's on the bigger side. Even for a lot of the I be seeing high schoolers, they don't even look like they in high school, bruh. Okay, and I'm not just talking about the girls that are wearing lace wigs and long lashes and stuff like that and looking like adults, okay, because makeup makes you look older. But I'm talking about the black boys who are growing, getting the facial, all types, you know what I'm saying, like in a way, quickly. It's as if the newer generations are they're getting bigger and bigger, which is wonderful. It's wonderful. But at the same time, when you're in a corrupt, unjust system, and even things that I can't talk about on YouTube, dealing with the mental illnesses and sicknesses that are going on in Western medicine, that are an effect of Western medicine. Okay, you can't really speak or touch on those things too much, because, and that should be is a red flag within itself. I wanted to go over just a couple of comments to clarify and understand the points that I'm trying to make in this topic. Okay, one of the comments read, and I'm just gonna highlight the word: actions have consequences. Yes, indeed. Actions do have consequences, but when we come to the American legal system, the justice system, actions have whatever consequences that the justice system wants to enable. And that is always unfair. And the same people that are commenting this, you cannot disagree. And you could, but the facts are the facts. I see so many comments. This justice system is broken. This justice system is broken. This justice system sucks. It sucks. Yes, it does. It's completely unfair. It's biased. Okay. It's just absolutely crazy. And people like to say that you like to pull the race card. Oh, you're pulling the race card. Life is a game. We're in a movie. Okay. Life is a game. How about that? Because unless you are a person of color who is walking on soil not too long ago was used and the soil that was tilled, the soil that was worked by the hands of slaves, and to be told on a daily basis, basically, by the system that you are in, that you are not allowed to speak about these things. It is disturbing that you are bringing up these things. While it is not disturbing of the facts that happened in this bloody history of this country that they make sure to teach you in elementary to kids. But I digress. Okay, the justice system, there are actions there are consequences to actions, right? But in this justice system, it's a system set up for certain people and a system set up for others that are not. It's not fair. It's all about money. It's all about money. Okay, if you have a certain amount of money, if you have a certain amount of connections, then you're able to become to get that leniency, right? So we're going to look into the next thing where a lot of people are saying, oh, I have autism too. Oh, I have child trauma too, and whatnot. Yes. When you talk about trauma, people going through different things, and that's understandable. There are different things that people go through, and there are certain things where it's like, oh, that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse for this or whatever. Everyone handles things differently. There are people that went through the same trauma as you, but deleted themselves, and they couldn't handle it. And that's just the facts of the situation. I'm not saying it's right. But that's the facts of the situation, and I want to focus on the facts in this video. But the thing that the highlighted words phrase that I'm looking at here is that I have autism too. Autism, if anyone knows about autism, it is a spectrum. They still don't understand autism. There are people, I've literally been doing IEPs. I've been in this school system for years now with an autistic son, and I've heard that so many times that is tiring. It's a simple fact that there's no two people that have autism are alike. It's like damn fingerprints, but at the same time, it's still the same finger. It's still the same situation. Okay, as far as there are common symptoms, but there's levels. There are levels to this. There are levels to these things. So you can, but the facts are showing that there are kids of different types of levels of this. And I want to go over an example as well. I remember one of the first in the early years of dropping my son off to school, and I heard on the short bus, because that's where they wanted him to be on, okay, the short bus, I heard a child kicking, mind you, screaming at the top of, I had to look over because I was just shook. You know what I mean? I was like, is the child okay? It's something going on that we need to tackle. No, this child is screaming. The bus driver is sitting still. They're just having a temper tantrum. This is normal in kids with autism. Okay, this is normal in certain kids with autism on certain spectrums. Every autistic child is different. You have your quiet ones, and you have your ones that are quiet sometimes, and then they're not. You see the situation, how everything is set into place. And as I looked over another parent was like, oh, that's how they are. Don't worry, that's how they be every day. And I look, and my son comes out, he's doing his thing. And then the parent then looks at me like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, your kid belongs on the short bus too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally, they're different. It's not the same. It's absolutely not the same. There was another story that I heard from another woman who deals with autistic kids all the time. Okay, that's her profession. And there was one autistic kid, because there's levels to this. Like I said, there's one autistic kid where his is so bad that he has like a plastic bottle. This was years ago, and he has this plastic bottle and he blows into it with something spins in it. I'm not really sure. Something spins into it. He blows in. He's doing this all day. Literally. Look. Imagine if I'm just doing that all day. All day, every day, all day, every day. If you take this thing away from this boy, that's literally how it is. I don't know how else to describe this thing. That's why there's another clip that I saw of a reporter. I see her around multiple times. I don't even pay attention half the time to these things because I got real life to worry about. And this woman is basically talking about the case. And I've seen her in some types of controversies here and there as well, but I'm not even gonna talk about that. Just based off of that fact alone, knowing this, it kind of just rubbed me a different type of way. She said she has friends who are autistic, and she knows, of people in her family and whatever who are autistic, and she's never seen that before.
Need your Nintendo in school, And then if a teacher takes it from you, then you're going to have to beat them to a pulp. You're going to try to actually kill them, obviously, if you observe that clip. If people were not able to pull him off of her, I legitimately believe that he would have beat her to death. I think that's what he was intending to do. I think that's why he couldn't stop. He couldn't get out of his rage. And we're supposed to believe that this is just a symptom of autism. I don't know about you. I've got autistic people in my family. I know autistic people. I'm friends with autistic people. Never seen this side of autism at all. No.
Sweetie, you've never seen that before. You have never seen that before. It's like when people have an experience here and there. You are on your desk. You are doing interviews. You are doing your job. I see you everywhere, right? And I'm just stating facts. You didn't have the opportunity, unless, correct me if I'm wrong, to raise an autistic black child. Boy, you haven't had the opportunity. And even still, there's so many levels of autism that you can, again, as much as I wouldn't want to complain about my situation, hearing that boy with a bottle story, like, you can't even talk to him because he's out of it. You have to count your blessings. That made me real like, okay. And on top of that, I've worked with an autistic coworker whom I didn't even know was autistic. He had to tell me that he's on the spectrum. There's levels to this. There are those people that can operate accordingly, regularly, like it's normal. There are people that are on the fine line where you could tell something's off, but they're able to maneuver and take care of their own situation. And then there was another comment as well about him beating her nearly to deletion. Yes, again, this is very serious. But let's look at the facts here. The woman's alive. The woman is alive and able to assess the whole situation. Yes, she's injured. But if you put yourself in, would you not be grateful to be alive in that situation? Especially after so many different things have failed in the system. Especially after being beaten by someone of that stature. That's why I'm going to be comparing other cases to this situation and just seeing the utter reaction. You could tell a lot of people do not deal with certain people with autism. All right. And another thing the woman says, another point that I'm paying attention that she says is just he needs to be in jail. I actually have been seeing comments saying that he needs to go to jail. He needs to be taught in jail. Taught what exactly? Taught what exactly? Because for regular everybody type of people, jail doesn't seem to be doing a good job, because there are people that end up going back to jail within 3 years. It's staggering. It's 47%, 43% to 47%. That's basically nearly half the people that end up in prison go back to the same system. The systems in jail, let's be clear, there's no real rehabilitation that's going on there. It's just you did this thing and throw away the keys. Yes, of course, there are people that need to be away. I'm not saying that. That is not, I want that to be clear. But for the people that you're claiming that you need to get taught, that needs to be taught certain things, they need to be rehabilitated, especially the non-violent crimes, they're not really getting taught anything. Nothing's really going on. It's just a whole bunch of politics, a whole bunch of favoritism, a whole bunch of it's all about money and status and whatever the case is. People sleeping with this person and that person so they can get an extra meal, so they can get extra favoritism. But, that's a whole nother topic. And so another point that I want to make in this video is the fact that people are saying that he needed to teach his child, that she needed to teach his child, discipline his child, and XYZ. I don't think people are understanding. You can't teach away and discipline away autism. Listen, I'm trying. That's how you know it's something wrong. It's something spiritual. It's something off Okay, it's not your regular disobedient child who knows what they're doing. Okay, I'm not saying that they don't completely know, but only a person with autism can tell you what is actually going on with them. And that's what makes it a disease. It makes it an emotional disorder. There's literally something wrong. I remember one time he used to cry. And I used to get so frustrated, and I would feel so guilty afterwards, because I'm like, yo, what am I doing wrong? Why can't you stop crying? It got to a point where he's shaking like this because he's scared and he's emotional and he doesn't know what's going on, because he literally, as he's trying to explain it to me, one day we just had a heart to heart, a soul connection, like literally says to me, Mommy, I don't know why I can't stop crying. There's something there. There is something there. It's because people cannot see. That's why a lot of people are straying away and falling away from God. It's because they can't see something. So they have to create logic and all of this other thing that they believe, or whatever the case is. Even though, ironically, not too long ago, you were saying goo goo gaga and you didn't understand anything. That your life was in other people's hands. You didn't even know of your own existence. Therefore, you were created. Your parents didn't even create you. They can't tell you how they created you, because they didn't. So if you're looking at this as something, you see, when I looked at those pictures and how he's looking in the courtroom and the things that he said, familiar. That sounds like a familiar spirit. I know that. It says having autism in prison makes incarceration unbearable. The Americans with Disabilities Act should extend to incarcerated individuals with developmental disorders. However, people with disabilities remain overrepresented in criminal justice. Those inside correctional facilities rarely receive the care they need. This is especially true for the people on the autism spectrum, as they already face challenges in social settings and with authority figures. Advocates for the rights of autistic people document key issues that people on the spectrum face during incarceration. Still, justice reform does little to improve conditions. What exactly? The woman, she's speaking from pain. Clearly, she's speaking from pain. She's been jarred, obviously, right? She's speaking from a revenge standpoint. Like, you hurt me, you have to be punished for this thing, right? She has the right to feel the way that she does after that situation. I'm not saying that. But again, who else failed them? Who else failed them? Because somebody failed there in that system. Because knowing his situation, kids with autism, they could be the sweetest, most adorable, most fun-loving, love them, they're so snuggly, love you. Then a trigger can take them over the edge, and that spirit comes out and does something crazy. Even the side of them that is sweet and cuddly and kind and whatever the case may be, you can tell something is off. That something's not right there. Okay, something is going on. Further, they're acting younger than what they really are. Another case, okay, just so people could look at the facts of the situation and how people are going in on this. Because what if people see what they're seeing? That's what they're seeing. They only go based off of what they see. But there's something more to it behind the scenes in a spiritual sense. Okay, so there is a woman, okay, California woman, who's had boyfriend 108 times, sentenced to probation and community service. So when I first saw this, I thought the boyfriend was alive. I thought he was alive. He's not. Brian Speger, 32, avoided prison. Mind you, the woman is 32. She's grown. Okay, avoided prison time after being convicted of involuntary manslaughter in the 2018 stab of her boyfriend, Chad O'Melia, 26. Okay, he was only 26 years old. She was found guilty but was sentenced to probation. Wow. And an expert at Byron, I heard the last name, Brian trial testified she was suffering from cannabis-induced psychosis at the time of the 2018 attack. Fletcher her boyfriend over 100 times and also herself. The judge defending his decision to spare Spedger prison time. From that point forward, she had no control over her actions, he said. A California woman who was facing up to 4 years in prison for fatally stabbing her, and she was only facing up to 4 years. She was only facing up to 4 years, y'all. Her boyfriend more than 100 times during a drug-induced psychotic episode in 2018 was instead sentenced this week to 2 years probation and 100 hours of community service. On May 27, 2018, prosecutors said Spedger fatally Amelia, an accountant inside the Thousand Oaks, California apartment approximately 108 times after the couple had smoked marijuana together, the Ventura County Star reported. According to Ventura Star, police officers who responded to the scene said they found Spedger in a pool of blood holding a knife. They reportedly had to use a taser device and a baton to disarm her and take her into custody. And that's a key thing that I want to say on this case that they had, right? Because I just heard about this in her sentencing. And one, she only is getting up to 4 years for murdering someone. Two, she is claiming an emotional state, right? During this, all right. Yes, she attacked herself too, but clearly she's still alive. She's very much still alive. So there's that. And then the way the police acted towards her, they had to tase her, right? And use a baton to get the knife, to get the weapon out of her hands. Mind you, if this was a black man, that would have been his blood added to the scene too. Let's just be 100% honest. People, oh, is the race? Yes. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, yes. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I'm saying this justice system is corrupt. It's handled by humans who have bias. It's not going to be fair across the board. The utter different, the scale that's being weighed in Lady Justice or whatever the case is, talking about she blindfolded. No, these people they looking, they seeing. Okay, the scale is not fair because it doesn't make sense. 30 years, don't murder. But yes, of course, there needs to be some type of punishment. 30 years, 17 years old. How old is she? 32. Grown. Made a decision to smoke something that she's unfamiliar with or whatever it was laced with or whatever. Right? Made that decision. And again, we can't say what really happened to her, if she really was in a psychosis or whatever the case may be, or if she has a connection somewhere with the who knows? Only God knows, right? And the fact that people are in comments saying, "Oh, Bud doesn't do that," whatever the case is. Everybody has their different things with Bud. I personally haven't heard of that before with Bud, but again, you can't. You didn't put yourself in that person's shoes. You're not that person. You don't have the chemical response that their brain had. I'm not saying that she's telling the truth or she's lying, whatever the case is. I'm looking at the facts of the situations that we can see that is occurring and how that is not fair. That is completely not fair. Yes, there is a moment where you smoke. There's that part in the beginning where you're just smoking your regular, then you get high, and then everything is enhanced, taste buds, whatever the case is. You're creative, you're doing music, you think deeper, whatever. Then you have that stage where you get a little anxious and you panic. Who knows what she was going through in that moment? And God knows that God sees everything. So if she's lying, then God sees everything, right? But it's the simple fact that they're literally going out of their way not to kill this woman, not to murder her, in pursuing her, because she clearly, if you have to use a taser and all that, she clearly was trying to continue to do this thing and try not to hurt her too much. Yeah, it's just absolutely crazy. So if you look at that, it just doesn't make sense. And there's another key fact in the case. I have to say allegedly with everything, but Mr. O'Melia, the difference here is he's not here to talk about what sentence. He's not with us to talk about how he would feel about the sentence that his girlfriend got. We don't know. But something tells me that it seems a bit light for the extremeness of the situation and the unaliving that happened, versus this situation where you have this boy his brain is not fully developed. And if people love science, right? So it's a fact that our brains are not fully developed at 17, 18, 20, 21. It's not. Right? But there you have this woman, fully developed brain, grown ass woman, takes a life, walks away as if she's a teenager who, I don't know, TP'd a neighbor's house and egged it up and got caught or something like that. That's just my opinion, right? So, and then I saw another comment about this case, about the teenager and, beating up this teacher, and basically saying that you're not in your right mind. You if you're doing this, yes. Isn't that the point? He's not in his right mind. He's not. Just looking at the picture says 1,000 words. And especially if you're someone that has experience and is going through a certain situation and seeing it in front of your eyes happening to somebody else, and the fears that that's why, if you're a mother, especially if you're, I say this for any mother, and that should be our goal, is working on getting out of Babylon, or getting, not to be fear, okay, not to be fearful, but creating a situation where we create independence, because we're in a system that does not love us. Let's just be completely honest. All right, this isn't me. I just live here. Okay, I'm witnessing and seeing it unfold. We're the nationality where we'll go across the globe and that we can experience racism here. That we have to be careful about where we travel and whatnot. But if you go any country, the white people are looked up to. Correct? Is that not? I mean, I'm just stating facts here, okay? I love all people, okay? If you're a child, if you're bro, whatever the case is, I'm just stating something. That is fact, okay? There was another case. I think they call it like the suitcase murders. I saw this a couple times as well. This woman, okay, yeah, her name is Heather Mack, all right? Heather Mack, she, had, her father was, I think, a famous musician, and then her mother, was there in a situation. She blamed her mother for the situation that happened with their father, his passing when she was younger. Ever since then, apparently she just hated her mom. She was saying all types of things to her mom. And we've all had those situations where, not all of us, but there's certain people that have situations where they don't have good relationship with their parents or mother or father. But, it still gives her no excuse to do what she did. But she was pregnant at the time, and she was 18, okay? And they went on a trip to Bali, okay? Her mother had a lot of money. They were very affluent. Again, her father was a famous musician, so they had bread. And she would argue about money with her mother, and she wanted the trust fund from her parents, but her mother was stopping her from getting the access to those funds because of the way that she was acting. So now they're in Bali, they're on a vacation. So the mother is trying to get good with the daughter, but They're sued. The hotel worker said that they overheard an argument between the two, and it was about using her credit card, the mother's credit card. So Heather Mack then still able to get access to the mother's credit card and buys her boyfriend a ticket to come on over. Okay, this is a perfect example of manipulation. So they end up the woman. Okay, she is no longer with us. It's absolutely insane because she got sentenced in Bali as well, because she stuffed her mother in a suitcase. And mind you, just from the pictures alone, the suitcase did not look that big. Okay, she intentionally said that she was the one holding her mother's mouth as she screamed, and the boyfriend was the one that was doing most of the action. But best believe it was her. She was the mastermind behind this. Like, something tells me that is what the case is. She hated her mother so much, clearly through the actions that she has done and her actions after the fact. The woman was locked up 7 years. She was supposed to spend a little bit longer, but they released her, I guess, on good behavior because she was living good. They let her have her daughter for a couple years. The boyfriend, of course, even in another country, the man doesn't get any say in how he wants his child raised, even though he is definitely a murderer. Just that example alone, he said he didn't want for her daughter to be there. And of course, this Heather she did not care about that woman. Okay, her mother, she did not care because they was having, you would think that she's out on a girls' night, they were sleeping with each other, and of course the child is there. So it's just like, what was really going on there? So it's just like so interesting to see how she was moving, no remorse, and then comes to the US, and then they sentenced her to an additional 26 years in prison. So, and then it says the government also wanted Mac to get 5 years of supervised release, a $250,000 fine, and restitution of $262,000 blah 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 dollars in filing last week. The thing that I want to say about this case is this is a woman you need to be afraid of. There are people saying, he shouldn't be out. Listen, yes, he definitely should be supervised. Okay. Brendan should definitely be supervised. Okay. He should have been supervised carefully, separate from the general population. That's just what it is. But this woman especially, she's the one who, whenever she get out, whether it be on good behavior earlier, who knows, like with these situations, because of the manipulative, conniving way that she did these things to her own flesh and blood. Imagine what she could do to someone else. Imagine who else she could manipulate. And she's already ruining another young mind with the couple years that she spent with her daughter in Bali, living good. The fact that she is a woman. She's a woman. She's dainty. She doesn't seem like she's much of a threat, but in reality, she's poison toxin. And I would have Brendan next to me any day than having to be around this woman who could if you rub her the wrong way or whatever the case is, when she has a completely functioning, coherent mind. Imagine what she could do to you. That's just my opinion, okay? Because what they should have done with Brendan's situation is someone should have told them what the triggers are for this child. What are the triggers for him? What are the triggers? With her, you don't know what the damn triggers are. She could just be triggered and smile in your damn face. Okay? That's just a straight fact. I agree. If he was white, it would have been a completely different thing. Just hands down. If he was white, he had autism, it would have been a totally different thing. Okay? They should have seen that this boy does not belong into the regular school system and gotten him the help that he so desperately needs. Because look at the pictures. There's something, I see that spirit. There's something wrong with him. But God is watching. Okay, and if you're a mother, I want to hear from the mothers of autistic kids too. I want to hear thoughts, opinions, whatever the case is. But especially y'all out there, speak up. Speak up. Because there are those people, those superficial fake people that spent a couple times, those aunties out there that spent 2 minutes with an autistic person and was like, oh, I know autistic people. Oh, I know autistic people. No, you don't. You have to live with an autistic person for the entirety of life. Simply put, because there are going to be moments where you think you know this, that, X, Y, and Z, and then something instant happen, and you're like, "Whoa, this is a crisis." Where y'all at? Because this is a conversation that needs to be talked about, and it's a harsh punishment. I'm just going to say it. It is a harsh. The woman is alive and able to speak. I showed you multiple examples of people that are not with us. Questions, thoughts, comments, I'm here to hear if anyone, but it is just absolutely sad. This video is getting very long. There's a sentencing coming up, and there's a major thing that I really like. The question I really have too about this case is where's the Nintendo Switch? What do you talk? Like, there's different people, because a lot of things you have to be careful with stuff that you see on the internet, because there are people that are literally just trying to get likes to their page, and you have to really look and peep. I keep hearing different things. I heard a clip where the teacher said there was no Nintendo Switch. I heard, she confiscated the Nintendo Switch. I've heard she snatched the Nintendo Switch out of his hand. I really want to know where's the footage on that? If there any footage on that, because it matters, especially when it comes to an autistic child. There are triggers, even with a person who's regularly operating, not giving anyone excuse like that's what they deserve to get beaten up. I'm just saying that, was it something where she was just like, or talking aggressively? All that stuff matters when you're dealing with a special needs. That's why kids, because they need certain things other than what another kid who is normally functioning needs. And autism, this spiritual warfare in itself, is a whole situation for a whole nother video. System is a lie. It's a facade. It's something to put up to disguise a deeper problem, and that there are key factors in this case that should be noted. The fact, one, she's alive and expected to recover. Of course, she needed to be going to the doctor, making sure she do checkups. And she said it herself that the school system, the people that are around her, failed her. Yes, they did. They failed him too. And it could be hard for her to understand that, being in that situation. But there's one thing: when you get up in the morning and you breathe in that fresh air, you're alive. You could walk away from the situation, and you can actually put your input in the situation. The victims I explained in other cases, they cannot. And also listen to that audio. This was the thing that I talked about in the beginning of the video, where basically there were some key things that I really heard that made me just like, wow, this is autism. And basically, after he gets arrested, hear this audio.
Put your hands behind your back. Turn around. Turn the other way. Stay right there. Got it? Okay.
I would say that's why they copy some discussion.
Hold on. I'm going to take your watch off. You'll get it back. That way it doesn't pinch you. Brennan, your watch is going in your pocket, okay? Watch is in your pocket.
Am I going to jail?
Yes, you are.
For how long?
I do not know. I don't make that determination.
I'm a double lock.
Deputy King's locking them, so when you sit down, they don't tighten up, okay? Is that your bag? Is that your bag?
Yes.
Okay, and this is your laptop?
Yes.
All right, we'll put it all together and we'll get it down. I'm gonna bring them
There.
Go ahead, go with Deputy King. Look at me. You gonna be cool with Deputy King and I?
I don't want to go to jail.
Well, Brennan, look at me. Look
I
at me.
have more important places
I understand.
You can stop manhandling me. It's not like
Nobody's manhandling you, Brennan.
And just the thought, am I getting arrested again? But I don't have time for this. I have better places to be. Literally, the unaware of his situation, of the direness of the situation. It's not that's exactly and where my autistic moms at. I know I speak to a couple of them, and you could say it's you're mimicking. No, I'm explaining exactly how it sounds. And any autistic mom who heard that, and autistic moms who explain their older sons how they act and how they respond. Yes, there's the different situations happen but it's a spectrum for a reason. And the reason why you keep hearing that over and over again, that there are no two autistic people that are the same, even though they could have exemplify the same type of symptoms, there are different triggers, and there are just like how we are all different, there are different moves that's being made here. And she has to really look at these things and do the comparison, because if it's such a unbiased, blindfolded justice system weighing the scale. I really want to know your thoughts and opinions on this. And mothers of autistic kids, what are your experiences? Okay, God be with you and be blessed.